Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cannonbull Podcast. I am your host, SaintJorge, and I am joined today by Mono.
Hey,
And today we're gonna be sharpening our needles again, jumping back into Farloom, talking some Hollow Knight Silksong. Okay, we got a video here from I believe the channel's name is Nopnap Narp.
yeah.
And he's talking about why he quit Hollow Knight Silksong. It's an opinion piece. We're gonna give our thoughts about it. We're gonna react to it. You know, we've been playing Hollow Knight Silksong as well. There's some things that we think resonate and maybe might not. We'll see as we get into it. So guys, we'd also like your thoughts on what you think of the video and what we mention counter to it or for it in the comment section down below. If you find yourself enjoying the video, leave a like and subscribe. It's our podcast and it's your podcast. Grab some popcorn, relax, and let's get into this. Mano, any thoughts before the big game we're about to get into?
I guess it would just be, let's hope we can keep a lot of this brief, right? We don't want to make it seem like we are here to just simply disagree with whatever Nop is saying, right? We are ourselves trying to almost be constructive, because a lot of things that come up in discussions like this, especially why you don't like something that a lot of people like, what comes up quite often is you just don't get it. Oh, you misunderstood. That's the point. Like when people make these kinds of statements.
Yes.
And I personally get very annoyed with statements like that, right? So I would try my best to explain myself, but I want to keep it as brief as possible, right? So that is to say that I feel like a lot of this video we will end up disagreeing with, but there is a lot of things that we can also pick apart and say, I can see where you might be going if this is what you mean. And that's the kind of stuff that I would want to point out and hopefully be constructive in saying, okay, you missed the point here. This is what you were supposed to do. If you don't really like that, perhaps you should venture off into a different kind of game to receive that.
Yeah. I believe we wouldn't be trying to just like, this isn't a takedown or like such nature of a video, where we dunk on somebody. We're really just trying to just find out what thoughts are here, what relates, and be genuine and sincere with it.
Yeah, ultimately it is about just discussing your opinions, right? And likewise, if you do put your opinion out there on the internet, we are allowed to comment on it, even if it is just an opinion piece, right? We are allowed to have opinions about this opinion. So that's what we are doing.
Yeah, that's why the comment section exists.
Exactly.
All right, let the games begin.
Sure.
Well, this isn't quite the Silksong video that I thought I'd be making. After years of memes and waiting around, I was ecstatic to see Silksong finally get a release date. After holding out a few more weeks, I booted up the game and got back into this world. And
I want to pause just there already, right? Like, this is me going to be very pedantic, right? But when he's saying that he waited a few more weeks, is that like I'm trying to see what everyone else has to say first before I jump into it? Because I didn't wait any amount of time. I was there like the moment it was available. I downloaded it. I had Game Pass, download, boom, I was in. So that's why I'm like, why did he wait a few weeks?
I had Game Pass. I no need to flex, right?
What you mean? I'm just trying to make it clear, Team Cherry. I didn't go and like acquire this like from the guy around the corner, Like, I got Game Pass.
Okay. Well, I didn't wait either. I saw the release date and I was like, day one, I'm waiting for that thing to be available and we're installing it. Mono got it first because Game Pass, but eventually I was able to get it. I think a day later, and then I jumped into it.
I got your Game Pass too, bro. What you mean? Like, what's up? What's going on?
Yes. I'm talking about that situation.
Which it didn't work out as we intended it to, but I mean, it was like you got your workaround.
Yeah.
I goofed up with the account, guys. Like, I got him Game Pass for like 10 days or something stupid like that. I didn't know. PC Game Pass is weird.
it's very strange. And I got that Game Pass Silksong experience for 10 days. It was really cool. But after that, I had to figure something else out. Go on Steam and stuff like that.
But I mean, anyways, it's just for me. Why I bring it up as to him waiting a couple of weeks here, right? It's just that I find it very difficult to be on your side when you explain something like that to me, especially in the online environment. When somebody tells me that they waited a while for something like a game like this, and then tells me that I also waited another week before I played it, it feels to me like what you were doing is you took out your social thermometer and you were trying to read the temperature of the room so that you can be like, okay, so my opinion is not going to be a hot take. Okay, thank you. Phew, crisis averted kind of thing, right? Like, imagine I did that with, let's say, Peacemaker, where it's like, no, I'm not going to review Peacemaker the week it's coming out, right? I'm going to review Peacemaker a month after it's come out, after I know what everyone else on the internet has said about it, so that I can then tell you something that either, being very good faith here, is trying to be different, right? I'm not just going to repeat what everyone else has said, or it's me just trying to be like, I'm going to get easy points. I'm going to just say I've avoided all the landmines in regards to the conversation around this thing.
My thoughts on stuff like that is, how original does your opinion then become? Because now you are either regurgitating or your opinion is infested with other thoughts. I personally don't like making reviews or talking about things after seeing what other people have said. I really want it to be authentically what I think and what I've observed with the thing, and I think that comes across a little bit nicer.
I don't know, maybe this is a bit of a tangent, right? I just said that we must be quick about some of these things, but I just wanted to know, do you get that feeling as well? Because I tend to, where I say something, and you know me, right? I've got a lot of crazy opinions. I've got a lot of controversial things that I say about a lot of stuff, right? Guys, if you want to know, I don't like the absolute universe. I don't like the ultimate universe in the comic books. I think it's all cringe. That's a crazy opinion, right? I'm sure a lot of people don't share that opinion. But for me, when I point out things like that, and I say, and my reason is ABC, and then another person in 4 years' time talks about, so let's talk about the downfall of the absolute universe. Let's talk about the downfall of the ultimate universe. Why did these things not work? And they say, primarily, it's ABC. I go there and I go, hey, I said that 4 years ago. I'm proud of myself. I like the fact that the opinion I generated, not only is it mine, but people start to see that and start to agree with that. Maybe it's not as inflammatory as when I said it, right? I will say that, no, I think it's trash. Another person jumps out and they say, no, I just think it was misplaced. Yeah, they can cushion it nicely. But I don't know if you get that sometimes, George, where you say, oh, well, you see, Peacemaker, this is what Peacemaker did. Right? And I can see that it did that, but I think these are the problems. And then you go out after making that review, right? You would then go out online and see other people say similar things. Don't you also feel like, yeah, exactly, that's also what I was saying? It feels better to me than to regurgitate someone else's opinion, to rather find out, hey, that guy has a similar opinion to me. Maybe we're on the right track.
I really do like that, because it shows that not only is what I thought of, I saw what was really being shown and what's there, but it also shows that, like, okay, this is something that clearly everyone can see. It's not really something where we're being delusional about it or something. I'll just, I guess, gloss over the Peacemaker finale consensus. A lot of people have a certain opinion about the finale that's unanimous, and I said before that, like, the way James Gunn is hyping the finale because of stuff he said before, it's not gonna be what we think, and it wasn't what we thought. And yeah, a lot of people are now saying, yeah, it wasn't what we thought. And it's like, yeah, I said that.
Exactly. Like you said, like there's a certain pride that you can get in something like that, right? So I feel as though this person, right, I'm just gonna call them Nop, right? Because I don't know if there's maybe like 3 people on the channel who's like Nop, Norp, and like Nap. I don't know. But in terms of Nop, right, I do think that this makes me cautious when I hear someone say, I've waited a week for this game that I was excited for before playing it, because it's like, did you wait a week because you couldn't play it the week it came out, or because you were waiting for the consensus? It brings more questions that maybe you wouldn't want me to have.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, for me, someone who waited, I think a lot of us who waited for this game, especially the Silksong YouTubers, it was like day one, it's on the queue. It's in the queue, day one.
Exactly.
What are we waiting for?
Exactly. Now, again, I'm not trying to police the nerdism, right? I'm not trying to say that he shouldn't be a fan this way or that way. I'm just bringing it up because very often, especially in like opinion piece internet world, right? You always want to cushion what you're going to say with a kind of a leave me alone, guys, kind of statement, right? And this might or might not be that. But anyway, let's keep going.
And what a world it is. Farloom is dense, dangerous, and detailed. Dense in the number of areas, hazards, secrets, items, NPCs, and build variety. Dangerous in the unrelenting enemies, both regular mobs and insane bosses that push you to your limits. And detailed in every sense of the word. Jaw-dropping vistas, environmental characteristics that show a lot of polish, and an incredible soundtrack backing it all up.
Nothing to say, yeah, I
Positives kept
agree.
me pushing onward for about 25 hours, but as I became more and more familiar with them, their appeal dwindled, and they just couldn't keep this experience afloat
25
for
hours.
me
I think I'm longer
any
in the game
longer.
already.
I felt myself losing my sanity, much like many of the bugs of Farloom. Clearly, this series draws a lot of inspiration from the Dark Souls franchise, but I think most interesting for now is
think
how
that's a
it
fair
borrows
statement.
its gameplay theme, humanity's willingness to push onward, hopeful that they can overcome all obstacles no matter how tough they are. Brutal difficulty can be beaten with attempt after attempt after attempt. It seems like
Yep.
Silksong wants to follow that same idea, pushing it further than the original Dark Souls ever dared to, hell, even further than Elden Ring, which never frustrated me like this game did.
So here's where we pause, right?
I also, yeah.
You go first.
When he talked about like this game didn't frustrate him the same way Elden Ring did, it's like we know why this game is frustrating him more than Elden Ring did. It's because this game is a little bit more annoying than Elden Ring. You know, Elden Ring doesn't try to make enemies come out of the wall, out of the ground, float, dodge your attacks while floating, you know. Elden Ring throws a kitchen sink at you, but like that's the one where it's like attempt after attempt, you can beat this boss.
Because it's basically like Elden Ring is trying to overwhelm you a lot of the time. It's not trying to avoid you and like mess around with your sensibilities, because I think sometimes like this enemy that's on screen right now, the Citadel bell thrower lady, right? Like this is an enemy that is very difficult to deal with because of the environment that they are in and the fact that they are floating. But it's like if I was fighting you in Bone Bottom, you would be nothing, you'd be chips, right? But because I'm fighting you here in the Citadel, you're just so annoying. Right, like you're floating all over the place. You're throwing me with this bell that ricochets off of all the surfaces and stuff like that, and perfectly fine, whatever. But I think something to note here is that the comparison to Elden Ring also feels odd, because it's like, man, this is a sequel to a different game. You're talking about Dark Souls and you're talking about Elden Ring, which are different games. Maybe we should be trying to make a more, especially at the beginning of the video, I think, a more connective argument between the tissue of Silksong and the original Hollow Knight, right? And talk about how Silksong tried to be more difficult than the Hollow Knight game, as opposed to Silksong is trying to be more difficult than Dark Souls and more frustrating than Elden Ring. Because the frustrations I have with Elden Ring is that it's a janky game. I don't think I would say that Silksong is a janky game. So, like, why would we be comparing frustrations of Elden Ring to that of Silksong? It feels difficult to follow.
I think this is the part in the video where it's trying to be very introduction to the essay type video. Introduction to the video essay.
Essentially all of them do this.
And I don't mean to be like that guy, you know. It's not a bad thing, you know. I'm probably going to be guilty of that in the future, or am guilty of it already, but like, you know, we tend to follow that model of the video essay, but because we're trying to sound like we are saying something of value here before we go on to the other points.
Yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to bring some of these things up because I feel like it's a bit better to just compare Silksong to Hollow Knight than to compare it to Elden Ring. And I know he's talking about design philosophy in how an Elden Ring and Dark Souls design philosophy is this, and it seems that Silksong has taken inspiration from that as Hollow Knight itself took inspiration from that. But when you're talking about design philosophy and execution, those are different. How Dark Souls executes being difficult is not the same as how Silksong executes being difficult, right? For example, Hollow Knight and Silksong are platformers. Dark Souls and Elden Ring are not platformers. So this is not apples to apples.
This is apples to cranberries.
Yeah, I was about to say it has to be like some sort of other fruit, like apples to bananas or something, where it's like, yeah, these are fruit and they grow on trees, I guess, but they are still different.
Yeah. So I think it would have been a more logical comparison, to be more like compared to the first game. There are inspirations, but we're comparing this with the first game and its level of difficulty, because I'm sure he played the first one, I think, and he didn't feel like quitting it like he did Silksong, because if you play Silksong, a playthrough of Silksong is genuinely like you suffer, man. Like just for like a good amount of minutes, you'll suffer a little bit, man. And then you'll just be like, okay, that's enough suffering for today. I did what I came here to do. I completed that quest. I beat that boss. I'm gonna go take a break.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's probably something that you also have to come to grips with when you're playing games like this, Elden Ring and Dark Souls as well, where it's like, these games are not just going to hand you victory on a silver platter, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling proud in a easy victory, right? In a game like Silksong, you need to take that, bro. You need to clutch that with both hands. That easy victories, you need to go, yeah. You need to enjoy them, right? There's nothing wrong with enjoying them. Lace for me was an easy victory, but I liked the energy of that whole fight, right? I like the energy of the fight, the vibe. Same thing with Phantom. I'm sure that when you get there as well, you're gonna love it too, George. But the thing I'm also want to just convey here is that these games are not going to give these things to you easily, right? And you need to get used to that. You need to understand, like you put it perfectly just now, George. Sometimes you're going to have to go and say, I've suffered enough. Let's put it down for the day, right? You just need to do that. You can't keep bashing your head against that wall. You need to take your time.
Because I remember I had a playthrough where I tried to beat the cogwork dancers, right? And a lot of people say, easy fight because you can see where they're going. Bro. So I tried to fight them. I wasn't having any luck. I left the Citadel. I wanted to go back to Bone Bottom. I always say back home because Bone Bottom is technically, Hornet's home in the game. So I went back there. And the moment I get back, when I think I'm gonna rest and quit the game, the Skull Tyrant decides to, on some Spider-Man 1 Green Goblin, finish it. I'm like, okay. I had to lock in and I saved the town. I didn't die once. And then after that, I was like, okay, I've suffered enough. I'm taking a break, And then my next playthrough, I went to go and, defeat the cog dancers, get the key, get to White Ward and all those nice stuff.
Yeah. No, like that's just the thing where I think a lot of people do get lost in the whole thing because if you think about it, harkening back to him talking about he waited a week, how much do you want to bet that he probably saw someone else do a playthrough, or not necessarily like a full playthrough, but he saw some other people have gameplay of something and he went, this should be easy while watching it, and then got to it himself in game and got really frustrated because it wasn't as easy as what he saw, right?
Man,
so
I really want to go through his archives and see how many death animations he has. It must be countless. No offense. It has to be. I think, look at, if this is his gameplay, I'm not sure if this is trailer footage. If this is his gameplay, what's that, 5 masks in the Citadel? You have to be insane. How did you get here, bro? How did you beat the Lost Judge? I'm genuinely curious. How did you do that? Dude, how did you beat, Widow, bro? She's not hard, but brother.
One wrong move and it's like you take a chunk of damage.
And then you beat it and you're like, okay,
Like
nice
what-
fight. The music was cool. And then it's like,
Yeah, go. Sorry.
then it's like phase 2. Music is faster. So are the bells.
Exactly. But yeah, let's keep going. See what else Nop has to say.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, it is your boy SaintJorge. The discussion's not over yet, alright? So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for the second part. There's more where that came from. I'll see you there.